Okay, y'all, I'm all gowned up. I have my IV. Just waiting to start the procedure. The nurse went to go get one of my family members. Only one can sit, so yeah.
You can have a seat right over there.
Hey everyone, I'm Dr. Donicia and I am a pharmacist, and just last year I had 15 fibroids removed. On this episode of Healed and Whole, I want to share with you my story, my journey of finding out I had fibroids and then ultimately getting surgery in December of 2024. So in this video, I want to share with you why I decided to go the route that I did of having a laparoscopic myomectomy and why I decided against the other options that were presented. So stick around. So February of 2024, I was starting to have headaches on the left side of my head. I didn't understand it. I was a little confused. I'm just like, why am I having these headaches? So I kind of just ignored it. I would just take Advil and go about my life. This was going on for like 2 months. Like every day I was just taking 200 milligram Advil and just going about my day. I remember going to the doctor for a checkup and, she did a routine blood draw. And this was on Friday. So then on Monday, she calls me in like a panic and she's just like, you need to go to the emergency room. Now, it's so interesting because on this particular day, my headache was so bad. It was so bad. Like I couldn't even like focus. I was at work. I was trying to work. It was just really bad. So I ended up going to the emergency room and they were just like, you need a blood transfusion. Oh, by the way, my hemoglobin was a 6. That's why they were like, you need a blood transfusion. So I ended up having to deal with all of that. And then I had to go and get iron infusions. So I did 2 5-week infusion sessions. So when I went to the hematologist, he was just like, we need to give you a round of iron. So every week for 5 weeks, I got 200 milligrams of IV iron. So my hemoglobin came up to like a 10 after the first round of iron, but I did notice that my periods were getting even heavier after getting the infusions. So I actually was losing so much blood still. After like 3 months or so, I had to see the hematologist again, and he was like, your hemoglobin dropped back down to an 8. You need to do another round of iron. And then the gynecologist was just like, we have to do surgery. Like, usually we try to figure out other options before getting to that, but she was just like, this is really bad. She told me that she saw 6 fibroids. She was just like, all right, let's do a saline ultrasound. So they kind of just go in and just kind of figure out what they're working with as far as like figuring out surgery. So I did that and she was just like, we have to schedule the open myomectomy. And she told me like, this is the surgery that I know how to do. So, that's the reason why I'm presenting it, because we do need to take these fibroids out. It was interesting that she had shared that with me because I feel like a lot of doctors wouldn't. But it caused me to kind of just like do my research and look into other options out there. So we didn't schedule the surgery immediately. She told me she wanted me to go see her partner that she would be doing the surgery with, just to make sure that I see everyone. So I actually scheduled an appointment with her partner, and she was just like, actually, I don't think you need to do surgery at all. I was like, what? She was just like, yeah, let's just do a hysteroscopy where we can just like take out the one fibroid that's causing the bleeding on your lining. And I was like, okay, they just do that vaginally and that's it. So I was like, okay, cool. Then she was just like, I also recommend you see a fertility specialist. And I was like, why? She was just like, just to provide some options, just to like, see. Honestly, her explanation didn't make sense, but it was whatever. So I actually saw a fertility specialist and he did a full exam. He like went in and looked and saw everything and did an ultrasound. It was it was a lot, but he pretty much was just sharing like, this is bad. Like, you have a lot of fibroids and they need to come out. His approach was a little different. He wanted to shrink the fibroids and then go in and have an open myomectomy, which I didn't really see the need for that. So I did not go that route because I didn't need to do. I kind of do an extensive video just talking about more so the prayerful side and like some things that helped me to know certain decisions weren't right. And I'll link that video here. It's on my other channel. But For the purposes of just like sharing exactly what I did, that's what I'm sticking to here. Then I just did some research. I just, Googled fibroids, myomectomy, and one of the places that came out was actually the place where I decided to have my procedure. So the place is called Innovative Gyne Care. They have locations in Maryland, in New Jersey, and other places I believe too. So I filled out a consult form and explained everything, and then they gave me a call and I spoke with the surgeon, Dr. McCall, and he answered all of my questions. I had to send over my scans and everything, and he was just like, yeah, you have a lot of fibroids, but their technique is called LAAM, which stands for Laparoscopic Assisted Abdominal Myomectomy. I hope I said that right. But yeah, so pretty much he was just sharing that like their approach is like they like use like a clamp or something like on the uterus to like decrease bleeding, and then they kind of go in and like take out each fibroid laparoscopically. He shared with me that it's minimally invasive, and he was just like, I think this will be a good fit for you. We have taken out a lot of fibroids with cases that were even more than yours. So, we're confident that we can help you. And I was just like, I think this is a good fit. He was sharing that my insurance covered everything, so there will be no out-of-pocket costs. And he also was just expressing that 2 weeks before my procedure, he kind of just like went in and took off like a piece of my lining just to make sure that the fibroids were not cancerous or any sort like that. So I had to do that 2 weeks before my actual procedure. So I decided to go with them because I thought that it was a better option for me. And the reason being is because I didn't want something that was as invasive as an open myomectomy. I desire to have children, and so I really wanted to preserve my uterus to the best of its ability. Yes, they still had to go in and cut and take out all the fibroids. However, I didn't want to have to get a C-section cut. I didn't want to have a very long recovery. So I thought that this would be a good option for me, and it turned out it was. I had asked him if I had a higher chance of being able to have like a vaginal birth in the future, and he said yes and no. It's kind of the same for if you had an open myomectomy. The reason being is that I was told with having an open myomectomy, you can't give birth vaginally just for fear of rupturing your uterus like during birth or what have you. So usually you have to get a C-section. And I personally just wanted to see if there were options that avoided that. So he said yes and no. He just said it was based off of like the location of your fibroids that can determine that. Like if they're more so on the outside, then you can potentially still give birth vaginally, potentially. Of course, speak with your provider. So yeah, so that was the decision that I made. Um, and I wanted to do that versus an open myomectomy because like I said, the open myomectomy, the recovery time was like 6 to 8 weeks. And the recovery time for the laparoscopic was 2 weeks. So after 2 weeks, I was able to walk around, move around. However, I still had to take it easy on my body. And I'm still taking it easy on my body now because even after the 2 weeks, my incisions were still sore. Sometimes if I press the wrong way, they're still kind of sore, and it's been like 3 months. So yeah, but I was like back, doing my normal activities after 2 weeks. So that was one of the reasons also I didn't have to take off too much time from work. Yeah, I had my surgery. It was in New Jersey. I didn't have to pay anything. Insurance covered all the costs. And my parents and my sister came for the surgery. I was in and out the same day. So the surgery was like around like 2.5 hours maybe. Usually it's a little shorter like the surgeon was saying, but he said that I did have a lot, so it was gonna take a little longer. So after the surgery, I just remember waking up, because you're out cold. I just remember waking up and I was just in so much pain. I was just like, it just felt just like, I was like, whoa, like what just happened? And I just remember the nurse came over and gave me some Dilaudid, and then I fell back asleep, and then I woke back up and I was like still in pain, and I was just so out of it. I just remember just wanting to sleep so much, but they kept trying to make me drink water and eat, and I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to sleep. So the nurse was like, no, you can't sleep. You have to wake up. You have to change. And I was just like, this is too much. So I eventually changed, and then went into my parents' car, and then they took me back home. So yeah, it's definitely you're in and out the same day. They make sure everything is all good before sending you home. So when I was home, my parents thankfully were here to help take care of me. And yeah, it was just like a recovery. I could probably do another video. I don't want this to be too long on like the recovery process, but I really just like couldn't really do much the first day. Like the first day, I needed help to go to the bathroom. I needed help to wipe myself because I literally like could not do that. That's how much like pain I was in. And a lot of the pain was just like the gas, sharp pain. The surgeon was saying that they fill like your abdomen with gas. And so that was very painful. But yeah, after like a day or two, I was able to start moving around. They encouraged me to do that actually, like after a few days, to just keep walking around to get the circulation going. Yeah, so that's pretty much like what I did. And, you know, thank God it's been 3 months and my body is recovering well. After the 2 weeks, I was walking around doing my normal activities, driving, no issues. But yeah, just been really just learning how to take it easy on myself. But I just wanted like this first video to kind of just share with you my overall like story and journey so that you're aware of that. Honestly, everyone's journey is different, but you know, I feel like the path that I had worked out really well for me. And the biggest thing I can say is make sure you ask questions, do your research. Like there was different doctors that were telling me different things. Like the fertility specialist was like, take Depo-Lupron and then get the surgery. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And then the gynecologist was just like, just do an open myomectomy. And I was just like, wow. So, you know, there was just a lot thrown at me, but it's really important to do your research, think about some of the goals that you want, and ask questions. You know, I was asking about my fertility, I was asking about, you know, childbearing, like all those things. So these are definitely things that you want to consider and talk to, because, you know, one doctor was telling me to just do a hysteroscopy and take out just one. Like, so you want to definitely make sure you're choosing the option that works best for you and, you know, what you're going through. No one knows what you're going through aside from you, right? So make sure you're asking the questions, make sure you're doing the research, and you're advocating for yourself, because at the end of the day, this is your body, it's your health, and you want to make sure that if someone is cutting you open, that it's a decision that you're comfortable with. So I hope that this video was helpful. Please comment below if you have had a myomectomy or if you have fibroids, what your journey has looked like, what options were you presented, and what did you end up going with. Let's encourage each other. I really hope that someone is learning something. And yeah, make sure that you share, that you subscribe, and that you just, you know, send this to someone who you feel like it could be beneficial for. I really want this to be a community where we learn and grow together. So make sure you join the fam and let's be healed and whole together. Bye, y'all.